Hello and welcome back to the channel, Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I am the Ginger Ninja and these are my movie reviews. This is a series called Tubi Reviews on a Tuesday. So every second Tuesday I'll review a movie that I've found on Tubi, a free streaming service available in most places around the world, but not all. This week we're looking at a movie called Inferno, also known as Desert Heat. Now before we get into that, please do give this video a thumbs up, and if you could, and you haven't already, subscribing to my channel for future content. That would be truly appreciated. If you hit that notification bell, you will be advised every time a new video is uploaded. This one was directed by John G. Avildsen. There were some issues with that, and in some areas it's actually listed as something else, but I'll get into that in a bit. Or you can read the whole sorted story in the IMDb link, which I'll include in the comment or in the description down below. The movie stars Jean Claude Van Damme, Danny Trejo, Pat Morita, Larry Drake, Gabriel Fitzpatrick, Jamie Presley, and many more. And I do say many because there is a huge cast in this one, and it does have a lot of people where you've seen them in other movies, you've seen them in other shows, but I won't get into that too much. I will be discussing plot specifics and spoilers, so if you haven't seen this one, you've been warned. So a man, played by Jean Claude Van Damme, drives out into the desert where some men steal his motorbike and leave him for dead. He survives and no longer thinks of suicide. He now has a new mission in life: revenge. And of course, getting his bike back. So first off, I did have a huge issue with this. So to start with, he's riding his motorbike out into the desert to give it to his friend, played by Danny Trejo. And they were in the military together, and so he's suffering from PTSD, things like that about what they did. And so he's going to give the bike to his friend and then off himself. He's riding out into the desert. There's no roads. It's like a dry, flat lake bed or something like that in the middle of the Mojave Desert. There's no roads. How does he know where he's going? You know, is he just, he knows it's that way, he must drive that way? Look, I don't know. But that really kind of, shit me off, that part. So we'll be starting off with discussing the cast. Now, this does have a huge cast. Like I said, it's the characters I mentioned before, the actors I named before, are the tip of the iceberg. There are more actors in this than I could name that are known, and you've seen them around, and they are a lot of fun. Like this, it's great to watch them, but it really isn't anything special. They're good, fun characters. The bad guys are the kind of bad guys that you want to see get their asses kicked. But once again, it's nothing special. It's just a good cast. The directing, again, nothing really special. Now, whether that's to do with a bit of the behind-the-scenes drama and turmoil that happened, I don't know. You can read more about it in the IMDb link. But there were also some scenes which seemed out of place and were poorly edited and mishandled in a way, I felt. They seem to use a scene where Pat Morita's character is tipping the bodies into this gorge, I guess, or pit of some variety. They reused that a couple of times, so reusing footage, but it was really obviously reused. So writing in this movie was, average, to say the least. Now this one, it seemed to me like it was the beginning of the Jean Claude Van Damme's downfall and his trip into the direct-to-video action fair market. It seemed around that time where he wasn't the huge action star that he used to be. But yeah, and like I said, that whole scene at the start where his character's driving through the desert made no sense to me. He then survives, obviously, as the plot goes, and then all of a sudden he saves 2 women, and then 5 minutes later, they're all back at his hotel room having wild sex. So he's went from committing suicide to having sex with women in the space of a day or 2. Good on him? I don't know. And all this while the old religious lady is watching him through the window, sipping on, I don't know, tequila through a straw or something, whatever. It just didn't make sense to me in that part. So it's, like I said, the characters are fun, the writing is average, but it's still fun. It is a fun movie to watch. The fight and action scenes in this are passable. They're not great, and I feel like some of Van Damme's actual skill, martial arts skill, his action skills weren't fully utilized in this. When you go to a Jean Claude Van Damme film, you want to see him doing the high kicks. You want to see him doing, the splits and kicking ass. You do see that in this to a bit, but not to the extent where you would like. There are much better Jean Claude Van Damme films out there. This is a passable hour and a half. That's about it. So overall, I'm going to give this film, Inferno, also known as Desert Heat, 5 out of 10. It does have its moments, but it's just nowhere near the standard that Jean Claude Van Damme films used to be at. So there you have it. That is my review for this film. So thank you very much for watching and listening to me ramble on about it. Hope you have a great day. Bye.